The Duke, final film of director Roger Mitchell, who passed away unfortunately before its premiere. It stars Jim Broadbent, Helen Mirren, Fiona Whitehead and Matthew Good. It's based loosely on a real-life story where in 1961 a famous and expensive painting of the Duke of Wellington gets mysteriously stolen from the National Gallery in London. And while the police suspect an international gang of professional thieves who spent months planning the heist, the painting actually turns up in Newcastle at the small house of Kempton Bunton, a 60-year-old man who can't seem to hold a job for any longer period of time, mainly because of his attitude, which is that he is prepared to fight injustice and fight for social causes anytime and any place he sees them, which is all the time. And of course that gets him in trouble continuously. His plan with the painting is to return it in exchange for a ransom, which he does not want to keep for himself, but rather use that money to buy BBC licenses for war veterans and retired people on pensions so that they can watch TV for free. And so the story goes from there. Now, what I found perhaps most enjoyable about it is the second layer, which I think none of the trailers revealed. Outside of the mostly comedic story centered around the painting, there is another subplot within the family, a subplot about grief, loss and inability to move on, to discuss things openly. Kempton and his wife Dorothy seem locked in a situation where they only talk about day-to-day stuff, never addressing directly the unspoken grief hanging between them. Kempton seeks refuge in all of his social campaigns and hides behind being aloof and talkative, and Dorothy, played brilliantly by Helen Mirren, chooses to put on this mask of invincibility, of a tough, hard woman, constantly exasperated by her husband's antics. And then, of course, in time, the painting storyline forces them to confront what's been hanging there for years, for over a decade. I think this mix of two storylines is done quite well, and of course it helps that both of the lead actors are so great in their roles. I already mentioned Helen Mirren, and I want to do it again. To me, she's the star of the film. Her performance, she gives a performance that feels very real and very subtle at the same time. There's a lot of truth in it, I felt. I enjoyed the supporting cast as well. I think that the film has a nice pace to it, and it keeps moving forward, mainly thanks to the painting storyline. Especially as there is a reveal towards the end, which I won't spoil, and I really didn't expect it, but then in retrospect it made perfect sense, which is kind of the best kind of reveals. It's funny when it wants to be, it's touching when it needs to, and certainly it has its heart in the right place. I enjoyed it quite a bit.